when he says to forgive, he gives us a hyperbole, right? He says, don't just forgive one time, but forgive 7 times 7. 70 times 7. That's 490 times. 7 times 7 is 49 times. So the idea being, do you think that that's just specifically 490 times? You get to 490 and you don't have to forgive anymore after that? You get to 49 and you don't forgive after that? No, the idea was you forgive and keep on forgiving. Just as you are being forgiven. We certainly wouldn't want God to stop at 490 times of forgiving us. I know I would have run out of the 490 a long time ago. So, the spirit of the law, the explanation, the detail, the pattern set forth in how we're to approach everything. And if we do these things, if we are making these efforts, that in and of itself perfects us, because as we continue to do that, we become better and better and better each time, just as practice makes perfect, right? Practice makes perfect. So if we're practicing, which clearly is the distinction, right, between those who follow God and those who don't follow God, those who are practicing His will and those who are practicing sin. See, that's another thing that I think oftentimes trips people up. Yes, we are all sinners, but are we practicing sin as a daily habit all throughout our day? Are we practicing sin? Are we telling lies all day long? And today and the next day 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 and the next day. Is that our pattern of behavior? Is that our practice? Is that what we do just on a daily? We just steal on a daily. Steal a cookie, steal a bag of potato chips, or got to steal a soda to go with it. Later you get home, you got to steal a sandwich. Next day you steal $10. Next day it's $100. Next day, and you know what I mean? Just on and on and on. Just a practice of that behavior, a practice of sinning. That's what distinguishes those who are walking in the will of God and those who are not. If you're practicing, are you practicing? Because the practice makes perfect, right? So are you practicing a life of walking in the Spirit, of walking with God, of walking in God's counsel? So you're probably all, you may be familiar with or probably have heard at some point, the walking in the Spirit. Galatians 5, practically the whole chapter talks about how do you walk in the Spirit. Verse 25, Galatians 5 and 25 says, keep in step with the Spirit. Keep in step with the Spirit. Have you ever walked with someone? Yeah, you're strolling along, walking through the park, walking through the mall, or, trying to get somewhere, and you're, trying to get into this building before a certain time because you have an appointment, and if someone's not walking in step with you, it's a hindrance to you, right? If you've got to stop every few steps and, so that they can catch up. Or maybe you're the one lagging behind and they're going forward and you're not keeping step with them. Well, Galatians 5:25 says, keep in step with the Spirit. Psalm 37:4 and 5 says, commit your way. So there again, that's it. It's a purposeful notion, not just a haphazard thing. We have to, when we get up every morning, when we are pursuing, are going to go to a meeting, we're pursuing a certain thing. You have to commit your way to accomplishing that thing. To be good at that meeting, to be good at that speech, to be good when you're singing, playing music, doing art. You're committing your way, determining, purposing. It's a purposeful, deliberate choice. And if you're not deliberately choosing to keep in step with the Spirit, if you're not deliberately, purposefully choosing to commit your ways, your walk within the counsel of God, then you have rejected the counsel of God. So there's where we are going, and we'll continue to review these scriptures on tomorrow. I hope you are able to join me tomorrow, Saturday, at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is when this episode will be live. And during the live broadcast, you can participate by submitting your comments or questions during the chat session. And you can also um, not just add comments, but if you have anything that you think is useful to the entire discussion, please feel free to submit those statements, those references to scripture. I certainly don't have all of the answers, but I'm hoping that together we can pursue this walk. Together we can perfect our ways according to the counsel of God. Until tomorrow, be blessed and have a good evening. Thank you for joining me.